Well, good morning. This is the second visit to 562. I'm going to meet Damien in about 10 minutes. Just so I do another quick shimmy around to see whether we had anything interesting here which I missed the first time around. It looks like there's quite a few cut-offs here. That's a ornamental dwarf quince tree from Monolines. Japanese maple. Agapanthus. Now, looking at this bed here, apart from the agapanthus and the ivy, it looks like maybe an oak of some sort. It's kind of hard to tell when it's this small, but judging by the growth, I might steal one of these leaves and have a closer look at it. But there's obviously a stump or something down in there which is reshooting. There's a little bit of irrigation here somewhere, so it needs to be investigated. Behind that there is what looks like either, oh look, I'm not certain. Judging by that root, it looks like it's a reshooting citrus of some sort, maybe wild citrus root, so it's a dwarf kumquat or a dwarf lime tree or something. This ash is such a bonsai, it's taking up a lot of the property, and beside that we've got the big beech as well. It's well and truly over the property boundary, as you can see. But it provides nice canopy and shade. Let's see what the owners of this property want to do regarding this tree. You could conceivably lose that great big branch there and not really reduce much of the canopy, but then reduce the invasion into the adjoining property. That's a very big branch, that one there. So more thoughts regarding this area here. The soil is impoverished and naked. Because of the sort of grass that's here, it doesn't automatically reshoot. It needs to be seeded and maybe get rid of the weeds and fed, I would suspect. There's a few roses here. None of them are really thriving because it's a bit dark and shady because of the street plantings. The street plantings, as you can see, is a big plane tree. There's a very pretty mauve-coloured climbing rose in this corner, and the prawn bush. The roses which are here have got black spot, but that's due to the shade. And that's a little Moreton Bay fig, that one there. So he's a weed, and he shouldn't be there. He's going to grow into a way bigger tree. He's going to smash that wall over time. But not for about 15 years, so don't get too stressed. Wandering Jew under here needs to be cleaned up. And this hibiscus, once again, it's just lack of sunlight, really. It's plenty of light, but it's just looks like it's been neglected here. And looking at this tree has definitely been eaten by, I would say, casement moths. There's no foliage in the upper part. It's possible possums coming from that tree, but the damage looks more consistent with insect damage. This is a bomb site here. So much that needs to be done or could be done. They probably look at it and think it looks fine. You've got some seeds here. It looks like there is some belladonna lilies coming up at some stage. Lots of spider plants. Pet plantings, I'd say, from the property upstairs because they've got cypress on the upstairs balcony. We've talked about the gold speckle bush, box hedge. That's a weed privet. As you can see, that just needs to be pulled out. There's nothing else substantial in this bed that I can see. That is definitely a magnolia. I suspect that magnolia is Silangea. Once again, we've got this enormous branch here encroaching onto the property. For the general health of this garden, these encroaching branches need to be addressed. And legally, all those ones over the property boundary can just be removed. But it'd be a better deal to talk to the body corporate and see if we can get it removed at that big trunk there. Because the structure of this tree really would not miss the branch. And it's a good 30 feet, 25 feet, 30 feet over the property boundary. So it's outshading this garden area. So once again, that's a weed, that's a Tostrum undulatum, a bit of ivy, a bit of grass weed. There is definitely sprinklers here, but whether they work is beside the point. That's another privet growing up there. Ivy in general. This Acer palmata still. There's dead growth on there. It's being crowded out, as you can see. It's got possum damage, but it's being crowded out by both the silver birch and the beech from next door. So for its overall general health, I think we need to address that. This silver birch is doing very well. It's had quite a few prunings. More thoughts about this area in here. I reckon a couple of nice rhododendrons would fill that corner, possibly just 3. And maybe in the foreground some camellias here. And some very low plantings on here. Since they seem to like agapanthus, you could do a row of agapanthus all the way along this property boundary. Check the lights. That looks like a bay tree. And that's weed, that's more privet. There's lots of weed trees and things in here. That's a camellia. I'd suggest that's a camellia which has also been pruned off, and camellias being as tough as they are, it's coming back. Another camellia down there. If you feed and look after those, they all come up quite well. Just take a bit of time. They don't grow very quickly. Another struggling camellia, but I still think a row of camellias along there, or even for a bit more of a stunning feature, rhododendrons along there. You could even think about Varroa rhododendron. That could look quite pretty. But in the foreground, I need to clarify with Damien what it is he wants along here, this dead area. Once again, a couple of nice little narrow camellias, maybe some Sasanqua camellias under there. This is dead area under there. Don't know what they want to do. The only way to deal with these cordyline palms would be to poison them and dig them out. Pretty nasty job, because the tiniest little bit left behind, as you can see, they regrow. So that in itself is a problem. This camellia, it's about to flower, doing very well. I doubt whether they want to deal with this Plantostrum undulatum, but it's way oversized. That would involve getting an arborist in to remove it. It's sort of kind of nice to have such a big tree in the property, but it's been hacked to pieces, and chances are it's never going to be gorgeous.